Hello friends, Namaskar. On the eve of 75th Independence Day of our great nation, I Vivek Shah along with my friend Vivek Damani wish you a very happy Independence Day. और आज हम आपके सामने लाइव लेके आ रहे हैं विवेक की बात विवेक के साथ का 4th एपिसोड में। पहले सारे वीडियो में आप लोगों ने काफी अच्छा रिस्पांस दिया और बहुत लोगों की ये रिक्वेस्ट थी कि हम लाइव वीडियो करें या लाइव डिस्कशन करें, और आपके रिक्वेस्ट को सराहने रखते हुए हम आज आपके सामने लाइव डिस्कशन करेंगे। आप हमारा YouTube चैनल विवेक दामानी आ रही है और विवेक शाह ऑफिशियल सब्सक्राइब जरूर करें ताकि आपको हमारे सारे वीडियोस के नोटिफिकेशंस मिलते रहे। टुडेज डिस्कशन इज क्वाइट इम्पोर्टेंट, बहुत ही हम दोनों के लिए बहुत ही एक इम्पोर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट है विच इज वेरी क्लोज टू अवर हार्ट्स एंड माइंड, दैट इज फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस. Today we will be discussing why, how and what of financial independence. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of financial independence on in that case, I want to start this with have a lot of learning for me and I'm sure that that will be for you also. एक छोटा सा टाउन था जो समुद्र के किनारे था and there was an impending hurricane, एक तूफान आने की एक चेतावनी लोकल अथॉरिटीज ने दी, और इसकी वजह से लोकल अथॉरिटीज ने सब जगह पे एक नोटिस भिजवा दिया कि प्लीज गो टू द सेफर प्लेस. हवाएं तेज होना शुरू हो गई थी, लहरें काफी ऊपर से जा रही थी. All the townspeople over there moved to the safer place except one person. This man stayed behind when local authorities person came to take him off and said that no, I will be okay, God will take care of me. और ऐसा बोल के उसने वहां पे अपने घर पे ही रहना पसंद किया. कुछ ही समय के बाद वहां पे पानी आना शुरू हो गया, वाटर लेवल्स गेटिंग हायर बेसिकली. कुछ देर के बाद एक लाइफ बोट आई वहां पे उस बंदे को रेस्क्यू करने के लिए. उसके घर पे आई और उसको बोला कि आप हमारे बोट में बैठ जाइए और हम आपको एक सेफ जगह पे लेके जाएंगे. अगेन वो बंदे ने एक बहुत ही कॉन्फिडेंटली रिप्लाई दिया कि नो, आई विल बी ओके, गॉड विल टेक केयर ऑफ मी. बहुत ही जल्द पानी बहुत ही तेज गति से बहने लगा, घर पे पानी आ गया. इट गेट्स टू अ हायर लेवल बेसिकली. पूरे टाउन में पानी बहना शुरू हो गया और ये बंदा टेरेस पे जाके अभी खड़ा हुआ है. कुछ देर के बाद कोस्ट गार्ड का हेलीकॉप्टर आया और उसको वहां पे रस्सी फेंकी और बोला कि तुम ऊपर आ जाओ, हम आपको सेफ जगह पे लेके जाएंगे. Again, he refused very confidently and said that no, I will be okay, God will take care of me. And probably this was his last chance to save himself. As थोड़ी ही देर में पानी पूरे गांव को, पूरे टाउन को चपेट में लेने वाला था. And after some time, this man drowned. ये बंदा पहुंचा अब हेवन में, ऊपर स्वर्ग में पहुंचा, और दिस मैन वाज टोटली कंफ्यूज्ड एंड आल्सो वाज हैविंग अ फीलिंग ऑफ बिट्रेयल एंड अपीयर्ड इन फ्रंट ऑफ द गॉड एंड सेड, व्हाई डिड यू नॉट टेक केयर ऑफ मी एंड सेव मी फ्रॉम दिस स्टॉर्म? गॉड रिप्लाइड, I did try to take care of you 3 times. I sent messenger, I had sent the lifeboat, and at last I even sent an helicopter to save you. इससे ज्यादा तो मैं तेरी क्या मदद कर सकता हूं? Yes, दोस्तों, what we can take away from this story in terms of money and personal finance. Friends, I have interacted with many people in last 13 years of my journey as a practicing financial planner. And I am saddened to see the faces of people who have gotten into serious financial trouble. They are smart people, good and kind people. But what happened to them? These people did not know the financial red signals they needed to pay attention to when they appeared in front of them. They did not know what to do with their money and when to do it. And let's get real, friends. People don't even like to think about financial what if of life, let alone talk freely about your money. जनरली हमने देखा है कि हम पैसे के बारे में ज्यादा लोगों से बातें नहीं करते. Many people probably feel that the topic of money or finance is so personal that it needs to be kept a very deep secret. And because you treat money or this personal finance as a secret, you are unable to discover the basic laws of money management and financial independence. Just like you are living in India, you have to follow a basic rules of this country to live peacefully. Say, for example, if you are driving a car, you have to maintain the speed limit. And also you have to stop at the red signals, have the seat belt wear. This is for your safety. Similarly, you also have to follow some basic rules of money management, which will lead you to financial independence. And today, our endeavor would be to give you a simple checklist and attitudes which is required to achieve your financial independence. Vivek, if you would like to add to this point that why financial independence is important and why to follow the basic rules of money management is important, and to know that and with that proper attitude, is there anything which comes to your mind which you would like to share with our viewers in that case?
Sure. Thanks, Vivek. And I welcome all the viewers to Vivek Ki Baat, Vivek Ke Saath, episode 4. While Vivek was sharing a story, I realized a true life incident which happened in 2010. Vivek, ये वो story है, शायद आपने भी सुनी हो. There were two incidents which happened rather than one. There was a lady who died at the age of 100. Her name was Grace Groner. And when her will was read, she has left some $7 million as charity.
Wow.
For our viewers, अगर मैं उस time का exchange rate लेता हूँ, which was somewhere around 45-46, 2010, it translated into a total amount of somewhere around 31 crores. पर आज के rate के हिसाब से अगर हम 75 का rate लेते हैं, तो we are talking of a amount of above 52 crores. काफी sorry. काफी तकलीफें हुई, काफी लोगों के मन में ये विचार आया कि इस लेडी के पास में, जिसने जीवन भर एज ए सेक्रेटरी इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन काम किया है, उसके पास में इतनी बड़ी अमाउंट कहां से आई, उसने ऐसा क्या किया. एंड व्हेन वी वेंट डीप इनटू द स्टोरी, वी रियलाइज्ड कि उस लेडी ने राइट फ्रॉम द डे शी स्टार्टेड अर्निंग, शी केप्ट ऑन सेविंग स्मॉल अमाउंट्स, kept on investing that, not only saving, she kept on investing that amount into equities. उससे जो भी डिविडेंड आया, बोनस आया, उसको कंज्यूम नहीं किया, उसको री इन्वेस्ट करती चली गई. सैलरी बढ़ी, उसको वापस से री इन्वेस्ट किया, डिविडेंड्स आए, उसको वापस से री इन्वेस्ट किया. एंड शी केप्ट ऑन डूइंग दैट, एंड दैट हैपेंड फॉर ए पीरियड ऑफ अराउंड 80 years.
वाओ.
सो 80 years की कंपाउंडिंग के अंदर शी क्रिएटेड दैट काइंड ऑफ वेल्थ. पॉइंट नंबर 1. पॉइंट नंबर 2 was, it's not that she just created wealth and she never enjoyed the wealth. She went for world trips, she helped people, she loaned money to people who were in case of need. उसने वो सब किया जो एक आदमी पैसे को एंजॉय भी करता है और एक प्रॉपर सेविंग्स भी करता है. ठीक है. What she did not do was, उसने अपनी लाइफस्टाइल को शो ऑफ नहीं किया. उसने लोगों के हिसाब से अपने घर को अपग्रेड करके 1 BHK से 2 और 3 BHK, या उसने वो एक गाड़ी जो हम अपग्रेड करते रहते हैं फ्रॉम हैचबैक टू अ सेडान टू अ लग्जरी कार, उसने वो सब कुछ नहीं किया. जहां पे उसको पैसे की जरूरत थी वहां पे उसने स्पेंड किया, जहां पे जरूरत नहीं थी वो उसने इन्वेस्ट किया. एंड दैट्स हाउ शी क्रिएटेड द मनी. सो दिस इज वन स्टोरी. देयर इज अनदर स्टोरी ऑफ अ वेरी इंटेलिजेंट मैन कॉल्ड नेम्ड रिचर्ड फुस्कॉन. He was at a time vice chairman of Merrill Lynch Corporation.
Yes, yes.
A Harvard educated, and a part of the education was at Harvard and past was in University of Chicago. And this person unfortunately declared bankruptcy.
Oh,
So here is a story of one lady who was supposed to have minimum financial knowledge, creating a fortune for herself and for the society.
exactly.
And here's another person who was supposed to create millions, and he created millions. And that is the reason he retired at the age of 40, to pursue his personal interests and to pursue charitable interests. But unfortunately, he took so much loan, he took so much illiquid investments, he had to declare bankruptcy. And here comes the basic laws of money management. Don't take loans if not required. Take it for productive assets, not for consumptions. If you are saving, save for long term. You invest whatever dividend, you keep on reinvesting money and let it be there. Buy good things, hold it, enjoy it. याद है काफी साल पहले एक हीरो होंडा का एड आया था, उसमें टैगलाइन थी fill it, shut it, forget it.
Yes.
That's the basic law of money management.
Very true.
However, I would say don't forget it, just monitor it. There's only one change I would say.
Yes.
So this lady did the same thing. This person forgot the same thing. One ended creating fortunes, one ended in destructing all the fortunes. So I think there is no apt story on money management than these two people. And if we understand these two people, we can create wealth for ourselves. If we introspect them with relative to our lives.
Very true. Very true.
So now that we have understood the basic laws of management, money management, and we are talking of financial independence on this on the eve of Independence Day. Okay, so Vivek, what do you think? What exactly is financial independence, and how we can achieve this?
Vivek, financial independence is quite loosely understood by the people in terms of अगर हम किसी से बात करते हैं और predominantly हम ये अगर COVID-19 pandemic and recent lockdowns जो हुए हैं last year and recently, and the restrictions have given independence a whole different meaning altogether. We want to exercise our independence to step out of our homes, move around freely, connect with our family and friends, etc. Many feel that independence and freedom are the same, but there is quite a difference between a freedom and independence. Independence means that an individual can do something without depending on others. While freedom has a bigger boundary which does not have any restrictions or rules, I would say.
Okay.
Independence is related to the capability of self-determination and freedom to the absence of obstacles to work out that. Freedom does not depend on anyone. It is absolute, wherein freedom is associated with a time and location, and it is subjective.
Okay.
With independence comes responsibility. And when you are responsible, committed, self-disciplined, and take actions accordingly, you enter into a stage at one point in your life which is freedom. Now, if I want to understand the same in the context of financial independence and financial freedom, financial independence is the capability to be self-reliant, debt-free, and which enables you to, with the power to fulfill the envisioned or most cherished financial goals, like owning your dream house, going for a great vacation, or buying your car, a comfortable car to travel around the world, provide a good education to your child, save for their wedding expenses, and even to have your blissful retirement, etc. So that's what the independence is. And financial independence paves the way to the financial freedom. So the first step is financial independence. And once you achieve that, because it's a quantifiable, then you can go to the stage of financial freedom, which represents the ability to earn and generate a livelihood that enables you to live a comfortable lifestyle and not worry about money.
Wow.
More importantly, the definition of financial freedom differs with age. Financial freedom gives one the ability to enjoy the lifestyle that one desires. And one point to note, which is important, is while financial freedom is psychology and unquantifiable, financial independence is quantifiable and can be planned using a proper process of money management and financial planning. And
Okay.
it is extremely important for every individual. Either it would be a man or a woman, it would be a teenager, it would be a married, single, separated, widowed, divorced. It can be any person who who can have the right to become financially independent, irrespective of their economic life cycle. So whether he is an ultra HNI or an HNI or a normal salaried guy, or he is a daily wage earner, each and every person has got the say right to be financially independent. The scale can be different, but the idea of financial independence is not restricted to only to a certain economic say more person, but it is available to across all economic life cycle of a person. And that's what financial independence is basically, which can be actually quantified, and it can be say with proper process, with proper money management system, you can achieve that financial independence. And our endeavor would be today to give you a basic checklist which actually can give us to reach there basically. And Vivek, if now, as we have understood what financial independence is, and if we want to create, or if we want to have a few checklist of how financial independence can be achieved, or I would say, what are the basic laws which a person needs to follow, or a basic checkpoints which a person needs to follow, so that he can assure that he is on a path towards financial independence. And if we keep on monitoring that basic checklist, we can rest assure that that person would go towards that destination.
So, Vivek, what we can do is we can talk our own thoughts on this one after the other, and for the benefits of our audience. And पहली चीज जो जहन में आती है, that is your financial goal. Okay. हम कोई भी काम हमको जो अचीव करना है, सबसे पहले हमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि हमको पहुंचना कहाँ पर है, हमारी मंजिल क्या है.
Very true.
ठीक है. हरिवंश राय बच्चन साहब ने अपनी मधुशाला के अंदर एक बहुत प्यारी एक कुछ पंक्तियां हैं उनकी, कि मदिरालय जाने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला. So, अगर मैं मदिरालय को बार नहीं समझ के एक डेस्टिनेशन समझूं, तो हर आदमी अपने डेस्टिनेशन को ढूंढने के लिए जा रहा है. तो मदिरालय जाने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, किस पथ से जाऊं असमंजस में है वह भोला वाला.
Yes.
हमें जाना है, हमें डेस्टिनेशन पता है, लेकिन हमको ये नहीं पता हमको रास्ता कौन सा लेना है. अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब, अपने एक्सपीरियंस के हिसाब से सब अलग अलग रास्ता बताएंगे, पर मैं यह बतलाता हूं, राह पकड़ तू एक चला चल, पा जाइएगा मधुशाला. So first of all, you need to have a destination. Second is you need to know how to reach that destination. ठीक है. डेस्टिनेशन पे हमें क्यों जाना है, एक एग्जांपल देता हूं. मेरी काफी क्लाइंट से बात होती है कि हमको हमारे बच्चों की एजुकेशन के लिए वी नीड एन इंटरनेशनल बोर्ड. परफेक्टली फाइन, यू नीड एन इंटरनेशनल बोर्ड, बट इज दैट द फाइनेंशियल, इफ दैट इज द फाइनेंशियल गोल, तो उसके पीछे का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, व्हाट इज द पर्पस. पर्पस बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिहाइंड एनी फाइनेंशियल गोल. तो पहले आप पर्पस डिफाइन करें. हमारा पर्पस है कि हमारे बच्चे को, हमारे किड को हमको एक बहुत अच्छी एजुकेशन देनी है, ताकि फ्यूचर में उसको कोई ऐसा इशू नहीं है विच कैन हैम्पर हिज फाइनेंशियल ग्रोथ. अब उसके लिए इंटरनेशनल बोर्ड जाना है, सेंट्रल बोर्ड जाना है, स्टेट बोर्ड जाना है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑल टुगेदर. बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी शुड हैव दैट पर्पस. पर्पस के बाद में आपका फाइनेंशियल गोल आ गया. गोल क्वांटिफाइबल होना चाहिए और टाइम बाउंड होना चाहिए.
Very true.
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
True.
एंड सिर्फ ये बनाने से या सोचने से नहीं होगा. काफी टाइम ये होता है कि हम चीजों को खाली सोचते हैं, हम उसको लिखते नहीं है, एंड हमारा दिमाग बहुत बायस्ड होता है।
वेरी ट्रू।
सो व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट इज हैव द पर्पस, क्रिएट अ गोल, एंड उसको आप लिखें कहीं पे, फैमिली के साथ डिस्कस करें उन सारे गोल्स को, and keep on revisiting those goals on a periodic basis,
वेरी ट्रू।
that you don't deviate. And the final important point over here is कि आप कभी please look in the light of these goals that you have written down, whether it is serving your purpose or not. If we do these things, then I think we are setting the right expectation. The first checkpoint is very clear, and then we will move in the right direction.
Perfect. I think this is important to identify the goals, because if you are moving in your personal finance journey without the goals or without the destination, you may hit a roadblock, or you may reach somewhere in that case which is not required to be reached over there. And that reminds me to a very important second attribute or second checklist which the families needs to follow is follow the equation of income minus savings equal to expense. Generally, हमने ये देखा है, and when we meet the prospect in that case, or when we meet a family, the general equation which is followed is income minus expense equal to savings.
कई बार तो expenses minus income is equal to,
हाँ, so वो इक्वेशन पे हम नहीं अभी जाएंगे, बट वो इक्वेशन अगर हम देखें तो प्रीडोमिनेंटली उनकी इनकम x है, उसमें से उनके खर्चे हैं, और जो खर्चा माइनस करके जो कुछ बचा हुआ है उसमें हम लोग सोचेंगे कि वेदर हमें इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, सेविंग करना है, व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन in order to be a financially independent and to start that journey. The first thing which a family needs to understand is income minus savings equal to expense. Now, if that is ingrained in his mind that this I need to follow on regular basis, ये एक अंदर माइंडसेट में घुसेगा. सेकेंडली, इसको गिल्ट नहीं होगा. जनरली what I have observed is that when an earning member of the family spends on anything, घर पे कुछ चीजें लानी है, घर पे कुछ, if he wants to buy something, he always ask a question है कि बजट है कि नहीं, ये लाए कि नहीं लाए, ठीक है. एंड वो वहां पे स्पेंड करता है, बट देयर आर सम गिल्ट इन हिज माइंड कि यार मैं खर्चा तो कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन आर वी ऑन अ राइट ट्रैक और नॉट, मेरा फाइनेंशियल गोल ट्रैक पे है कि नहीं, मैंने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स बराबर किए हैं कि नहीं. With that guilt he is spending. Now, in order to be guilt free, if he follow this equation that पहले savings जितना उसको उसके financial goals के लिए जितनी जरूरत है उसके इनकम में से माइनस कर लिया और वो इन्वेस्ट प्रॉपरली चैनलाइज कर दिया, उसके बाद जो भी फंड्स अवेलेबल है he can use that fund freely without any guilt, and he can enjoy his life. That is very important. बिकॉज जनरली ये होता है कि ये पहले वाले इक्वेशन में फॉलो करने में जो कुछ बचा हुआ होता है उसमें हम सेविंग करते हैं, एंड जनरली यू स्पेंड अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, जो चीजें जरूरत नहीं होती वो भी हमारी एक्सपेंस पे चली जाती है.
बराबर है.
एंड इफ यू आर सेविंग विथ कॉन्फिडेंस, लुकिंग एट योर फर्स्ट पॉइंट विच इज आइडेंटिफाइंग योर फाइनेंशियल गोल, एंड यू डू दैट, आई थिंक दैट माइंडसेट चेंज will help you over a period of time to get that level of security, that level of confidence, that level of clarity that I am being on a right track toward where I need to reach.
Exactly.
So that is the second checklist which our viewers should look into that point very seriously when it comes to starting the journey of a financially independence.
Perfect. So the third point in the checklist is, extension of what you are saying. जो इक्वेशन में बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि हमारा होता क्या है, हमको होना चाहिए इनकम माइनस सेविंग्स इज इक्वल टू एक्सपेंस, और हम बोलते हैं एक्सपेंसेस माइनस इनकम इज इक्वल टू लोन. नहीं. एंड बिलीव मी, जो एग्जांपल मैं पहले भी दे रहा था, स्टोरी बता रहा था रिचर्ड फुस्कोन की, a person who retired at the age of 40 he had so much wealth with him, that's why he decided to retire.
Yes.
But because he took a 20,000 square foot mansion for himself and he was unable to service the same, उसको bankruptcy declare करनी पड़ी.
Exactly.
So the thing is, आप loans कितना ले रहे हैं या नहीं ले रहे हैं will decide how soon or how long you will take to become financially independent.
Very true.
ठीक है. A lot of people will take loans for luxury items, for lifestyle aspirational objects, which I believe should be avoided.
Very true.
Number one, आपको लोन लेना है लीजिए, but have a clear understanding why it is required, whether it is for an asset which will appreciate or depreciate, and most important point is पहले तो हम ये समझ ले कि लोन का मतलब क्या हुआ. लोन का मतलब है मैं मेरी फ्यूचर की अनसर्टन इनकम को आज की सर्टन ईएमआई में कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूं.
Yes.
अगर मैं अनसर्टेनिटी ऑफ इनकम को सर्टेनिटी ऑफ एक्सपेंस के अंदर कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूं तो आई एम टेकिंग ए वेरी ह्यूज रिस्क.
Very true.
I have two examples wherein a person, a client working for a company which was supposed to be a very good company to work with until unless it declared its bankruptcy, doing very good, and she wanted to take a loan, and I was hell-bent कि no आपको लोन नहीं लेना है. And luckily she agreed to what I was saying, and जब कंपनी bankrupt हो गई और उन्होंने 6 महीने तक सैलरी नहीं दी, she was happy at least कि चलो मेरे पास लोन की लायबिलिटी है, वो स्ट्रेस नहीं है. हैप्पी तो नहीं बोलूंगा लेकिन वो स्ट्रेस नहीं था.
Yes.
Again, one of my client who we ensured he became debt free, and after that this lockdown started, he lost his job. 1 year he was without a job because he had no loans and he had a strong investments in way of growing assets and contingencies. He was able to sail through before he got a job around 2 or 3 months back.
Very true.
So हम इस लोन की एस्पेक्ट को जितना कम रखेंगे अपनी वर्किंग के अंदर, उतना हमारे फ्यूचर में और हमारी फ्यूचर ग्रोथ के लिए, हमारी एसेट ग्रोथ के लिए becomes very important.
And many times, Vivek, it has been seen that when everything is going very fine, we underestimate the say challenges which may happen in future. Basically, so life is full of ups and downs. आपकी लाइफ एक स्ट्रेट लाइन की तरह नहीं जाने वाली. The life में ups and downs आएंगे. If you take a loan, whether you are able to service that loan or not, in any bad situation, that has to be taken in mind. And then you take, because your one bad decision can lead to a whole say a chain of along with your family members who can suffer in future in that case.
Exactly.
The basic responsibilities which you need to fulfill for your family, like education, etc., that can go for a toss. And that's
ये भी पॉइंट है विवेक. और इसका एक पॉइंट ये भी आता है ना कि सपोज मैंने अपने कैपेबिलिटी के ऊपर जाके एक हाउसिंग लोन ले लिया बिकॉज आई लाइक द हाउस. Tomorrow if I'm not able to repay that loan and I have to sell that house, imagine the emotional trauma, the psychological factors the family goes through.
And we have seen many cases in COVID, basically. So being a financial advisor, we meet many people day in and day out in that case, and we have seen that how creating. So I still remember one case in 2012 when a prospect or referral came to me, and when I seen his say net worth and balance sheet, basically personal balance sheet, he was having full of loans in his. So you talk of loan, and he was having that loan. It took me around 2.5, 3 years to get out of all the redundant loans, which are credit card loans, personal loans, etc. And today he feels that confidence, because when you are loan free, when you are debt free, that mindset, that mental peace is such important, which people don't take that into consideration. So वो एक बहुत important है. And I think you are very right that having a very less debt or no debt is a boon for a family or for yourself and for your future. Perfect.
True.
Now, once the fourth checkpoint, which I feel that is important, is generally we have seen in India that India is a great nation of savers. So at one point of time, we have seen that the Indian saving ratio was close to 35-37%, which has come down to around 27-28% now, and it is coming down very drastically. We just save, we don't invest. So Indians are great savers, but we are not great investors. So we need to allocate our savings in a proper way to channelize that savings so that your future goals are able to fulfill, and not just saving basically, and saving should not be randomly. We have seen that जब कोई पैसा आपके पास रहता है तो Jan, Feb, March में generally people used to have a word with his friends or colleagues or someone relatives, and you buy some or other financial product where there is no purpose, where there is no financial goal attached. ये नहीं पता कितने time के लिए investment कर रहे हैं, and after 5 years, 10 years, you actually realize that this financial product was not supposed to be bought, and किसी ने मुझे चिपकाया था या किसी ने मुझे sell किया था. So that is fine, you realized after 10 years, but the golden 10 years period of compounding your money in a right asset class, that is lost in your life basically. So now next time whenever you invest, you should take that financial goals in mind with proper time horizon, keeping asset allocation in picture, that where you need to allocate your assets in different assets basically, whether it's equity, debt or bonds or gold basically, which will help you to minimize your risk of your investment based on your time period and goals. And generally we have seen that when people want to invest also, they are most optimistic when they want to invest. That okay, let's invest in equity, let's invest in the highest risk in order to earn higher returns basically. They don't consider that the asset allocation of proper equity and debt is also important to tackle the risk. They are the most greedy when they are investing, and they become most fearful when market goes down. So that should not be there. So that expectation is very clear, that how to channelize the funds. And we have seen that एक साल के time horizon में people used to invest in money in equity market, and we have also seen that in 10-year time horizon people parking money in FD. Both are suicidal. In 1 year the chances of capital going down is very high, and in 10-year horizon the world would have gone from this stage to this stage, and the inflation would be this level, and your money has non-growth because you are not investing in right asset class.
That's true.
So that is important, that don't just save but allocate and channelize your savings towards proper investment with proper financial products, and which is allocated toward your financial goals. And I think that is very important, which is the fourth checklist which we want to highlight in that case.
इसमें एक चीज और हो जाती है विवेक, फिर जो थोड़ा सा समझदार इन्वेस्टर हो जाता है एट टाइम्स, वो क्या करता है कि देखेगा मेरा रिटर्न्स इक्विटी में सबसे ज्यादा आ रहा है मार्केट के अंदर, सो पुट एवरीथिंग इनटू इक्विटी. आफ्टर 1 year when he sees equity doesn't perform and he sees gold is performing, okay, यहाँ से पैसा निकाल के सब गोल्ड में डाल दो.
Very true.
ठीक है, उसके बाद डेट दिख रहा है तो डेट में डाल दो. So he is just chasing those returns based on the past historical data.
Exactly.
And he creates a chaos out of the portfolio. Okay, he forgets again the very basic law, which is, you know, Olympic khatam hua and we have done very well in Olympics compared to our performance in the past. And hockey was a great example. Let's take an example of hockey. क्या हम सारे के सारे players को फॉरवर्ड प्लेयर्स बनाते हैं क्या?
नहीं.
और क्या हम सारे के सारे प्लेयर्स को डिफेंसिव बना के गोल के साथ खड़ा कर देते हैं? गोल ही नहीं होगा ना, 11 प्लेयर अगर पीछे खड़े हैं तो गोल कैसे होगा?
Very true.
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होता है ना, वी वर्क इन फॉर्मेशन. सो ईदर वी फॉलो द 4+3+3 फॉर्मेशन, और वी विल फॉलो 3+4+3 फॉर्मेशन, और वी विल फॉलो 5+3+2 फॉर्मेशन. इसका मतलब क्या है फॉर्मेशंस का? अगर मैं 4+3+3 की बात करता हूं, मेरे 4 फॉरवर्ड्स हैं, 2 on the, मतलब 2 in the center and 1 in the left, 1 in the right. There are 3 in the first defensive line, and there are three in the backward defensive line, and there is a goalkeeper, right? So पहले चार जो मेरे forwards हैं, they are attackers. वो मेरे equity हो गए. Next तीन जो हैं, वो that is my first line of defense. These are aggressive debt or conservative equity. उसके पीछे मेरा एक लिक्विड वाला पार्ट आता है या शॉर्ट टर्म डेट वाला पार्ट आता है, which is my basic the third line of
protecting you or hedging you basically,
and that is a goalkeeper which is liquid,
yes,
or a overnight or a saving fund, right?
Similarly Vivek, जैसे क्रिकेट टीम में हर प्लेयर सचिन तेंदुलकर नहीं हो सकता. You need to have the different
सारे बैट्समैन आ जाएंगे तो बॉलिंग कौन करेगा, कीपिंग कौन करेगा?
Yes, so you cannot have all Sachins in the team. You need to have a combination of all in that case in order to fulfill your financial goal and reach towards financial independence.
So from these examples, we should understand asset allocation is important. Number one, everything cannot be equity and everything cannot be debt. It has to be a combination, and सबका purpose अलग-अलग है. You can't expect कि सब आपको returns देंगे. There is something for wealth creation, there is something for wealth protection, there is something for risk mitigation.
Perfect.
And you need a combination of all three to create a portfolio which will optimize your returns.
Perfect. Very true.
That is one part. Okay. Diversification हो गया साथ में. साथ में मुझे उसको periodically allocation भी बराबर करना है. At times क्या होता है ना कि मेरा equity बहुत ज्यादा perform किया. Last एक साल के अंदर equity ने बहुत अच्छा performance दिया है. So I need to rebalance my portfolio, do an asset allocation so that I come back to what was originally planned. कितना percentage equity, कितना percentage debt, कितना percent. अगर मैं वो नहीं करता हूँ तो इसके दो रीजंस हैं. नंबर वन, देयर इज नो स्क्यूनेस टुवर्ड्स वन पर्टिकुलर एसेट क्लास.
वेरी ट्रू.
सेकंड, जहां पे परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी है वहां से मैं थोड़ा प्रॉफिट बुक कर लेता हूँ, उसको दूसरी जगह पे पुट अप कर देता हूँ. आखिर हमको यही चाहिए ना. एंड इन द लॉन्ग रन दिस स्ट्रेटजी वर्क्स वंडर्स.
Exactly. And so, that's where the fifth checkpoint which you are saying, Vivek, is like proper asset allocation and diversification is very important, which investors used to forget many times during the bull runs basically, and they used to remember all these rules when the market goes down. So you need to follow the principles at any point of time, and you can't deviate your strategy depending on market situations. You have to follow asset allocation and you have to follow diversification. Great. Perfect. Now, looking at this first checklist, sixth point which is important is to start early, basically to start small, but to start early in your life and systematically. Understanding the power of compounding in early age can be a huge boon in your later years. The best example can be Warren Buffett, who started his investment journey at the age of 11 and he's right now 91. Understand a journey of 80 years of compounding basically, and we see at the result that he is the one of the richest investor, or he's one of the most learned investor in which our planet has seen till now. But understand the thought process which he has gone through. He understands the power of compounding so early. He started at the age of 11 buying his say equity investments. And if I want to give appeal to all our young generation or millennials basically who is going to come to earn in next couple of years, the first thing which you should do is create or start investing aggressively, or start SIPs, or start investing in equity for your later years. The reason why it happens is because when you start earning at the age of 23, 25, it's an initial years of your earning, and the savings ratio is very high. You save close to around 60, 70, even at 80% when you are staying with your parents basically, because hardly there are any expenses. Even though you stay outside your city, at some other city basically, still you save around 40, 50, 60% in some cases. This 60% are very important, and channelize this at early phase of your life. Understand it and start investing early to enjoy the power of compounding after 10 years, 15 years. Because once you get married, you become at age 30, you have your own child. You start getting that feeling that I need to start planning for my child education. I need to have my own house at the age of 30 to 35. By that time, your savings would come down to 20-25%. And this
Exactly.
20-25% would always be a smaller amount as compared to what you want to achieve after next 10-15 years. Starting early is that's why important, that when you understand this money management laws at the early age of life, you start early and you finish early basically. So if you want to get financially independent even at an early age of life, like 45, 50, 55, if you have that dream, that is only possible if you start early. Otherwise it becomes difficult
और
to
इसमें ना
start
ये भी
early or
जरूर,
start
हाँ,
that case.
और इसमें ये भी जरूरी नहीं कि हर आदमी वॉरेन बुफे के जैसे इंटेलिजेंट हो.
Exactly.
You can be like Grace Groner also. मतलब someone who never understood finance, but she went with her logic, a very rational and very prudent approach, logical approach as to how you should invest. If you have a balanced mind,
बहुत ही सही बात की आपने. और आप भी शायद इससे सहमत करेंगे कि इन्वेस्टमेंट में 90-95% is emotions and behavior or conviction or confidence, and 5% is knowledge.
exactly.
But generally people follow or go towards that this 5%, 95% को knowledge में लेते हैं और 5% को भूल जाते, वो उसको 95% को भूल जाते हैं. And if they can have that emotional behavior, you can have that conviction, stay calm in all the cycles basically. Markets have given return in the past, they will give return in the future, but what is important is to stay fit or stay calm basically in terms of your money. That's it.
Perfect. And this brings to my 7th point, which is when you are creating those investment processes, when you are investing, it is very important to keep on reviewing your portfolio based on the goals and the objectives that you have created.
Very true.
Not in terms of the returns. ओके, प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि हम रिटर्न्स के ऊपर हमारे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को रिव्यू करते हैं. आज क्या अच्छा है, नई स्ट्रैटेजी क्या है, नया आइडिया क्या है. प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. व्हाट वाज योर ऑब्जेक्टिव, वेयर यू स्टार्टेड, वेयर हैव यू रीच्ड, हाउ लॉन्ग विल इट टेक, okay, what is the addition or a change in the strategy which is required to achieve what you want to achieve, not what the market is giving.
Very true.
So reviewing your portfolio, because क्या होता है, एक तो हो गया मैंने एक ऑब्जेक्टिव मेरा बनाया, लेकिन 5 साल के अंदर मेरे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स चेंज हो सकते हैं, मेरा प्रोसेस चेंज हो सकता है. 5 years back I was in the middle management, today I'm in senior management, my salaries have increased, my aspirations have changed, my lifestyle has changed. How do I incorporate the new lifestyle in the whole process of my financial working? That becomes very important. Number 1. Number 2 is हमारा कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसको रिव्यू करना बहुत जरूरी है, because are we moving in the right direction? So there is a very beautiful example कि अगर हम एक वर्ल्ड का राउंड लेते हैं in a rocket and it deviates just 1%, we may reach some other planet. True. Out of the Milky Way. So that's what can happen with a small deviation. So if you need to stay on course, as I said, the first point is you should have that your objectives available to you written. More than that, you have to see where are you in the present scenario with all your investments. Are you moving in the right direction with the right set process or not?
Perfect.
So that's point number 7.
Now, if I come to the next point, so 8th point says about indemnify your risk properly with health, life, and asset. Now, when I talk about risk, now risk is very important basically because family में 3 type के risk होते हैं. One is your health, one is your life, and say 3rd is your asset. Now, generally people used to have a very narrow approach towards the health. They feel that कि हमने 2-3 लाख का life health insurance ले लिया, हमारा काम हो गया. No, you need to review your health properly. And medical insurance is the most misunderstood or ignored part as far as India is concerned, and which we have seen in last 1 year during pandemic. Second is life. most misunderstood or missold say aspect of financial journey. Basically, there is a wrong English which people used to use. They say that we invest in life insurance. No, there you can't invest in life insurance. The insurance can be bought. It's a security which you give to your family if something happens to you. So make sure that this mindset needs to be changed. In order to be financially independent, you can't invest in life insurance. You can buy life insurance, because if something happens to you, being a capital asset to the family, then the family is taken care of by with all the required responsibilities. And the next last is your asset. My experience says that around 60 to 70% of the net worth of the family belongs to the real estate properties, either commercial or residential, and these are not insured. The risk is still not indemnified. If something happens to that property, 60 to 70% of your net worth goes down the drain, and that is important basically. So if these three risks they can indemnify properly, I think the major shocks of life which they may get basically can be avoided, and major wealth erosion, because if any of the situation happens, if you have created that wealth, will go for a toss.
Perfect. So risk is required, risk management is required as far as health, life and assets go. And we take insurance to transfer the risk at a premium to the insurance company.
Very true.
At times there are certain risks which cannot be transferred, or maybe the risk that we have, it cannot be 100% covered. What do we do in that case? In that case, we create a contingency fund.
Exactly.
ठीक है? इंडिया में या काफी सारी कंट्रीज के अंदर you don't have a risk of loss of job.
True.
Loss of income due to the job going out. Okay. Or we have seen in the case of corona, whatever may be the reason, or not going into the reasons, but you went to the hospital, your insurance was only for let's say 5 lakhs and the bill came for 12 lakhs. What do you do in such cases? So one thing is, while we should take insurance for the maximum possible amount to cover ourselves, we should also create an emergency fund. Emergency fund is required for many other purposes apart from risk mitigation.
Very true.
Okay, आपका job loss हो गया, आपकी double income थी, but maybe one of the income is not there due to the family coming up or whatever may be the reason. Then you need to plan yourself accordingly. For that, emergency fund is required. Emergency fund is also required. Okay, if we see we have parents who are not adequately insured, and the health because of age is getting deteriorated, so you need to create a contingency for that also.
True.
Or maybe emergency can come in any form. Day before yesterday, I was reading about a doctor somewhere who, while being in the gym, he died because of a cardiac arrest. So someone who is at a gym is supposed to be a fit person. So there may be various reasons, whatever stress or challenges he had. But if such situation comes in, what do you do?
True.
So, and what happens is, मैंने काफी लोगों को देखा है, वो emergency fund तो create करना चाहते हैं, they want to invest into equities. Okay, as I said, वो goalkeeper जो होता है, वो ऐसे लगता है कि वो ना 70 मिनट खड़ा है उस गोल के अंदर, गोल पोस्ट के साथ, वो कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. बट अगर किसी को समझना है गोलकीपर का काम क्या होता है, तो प्लीज वॉच द मैच दैट इंडिया प्लेड इन द सेमीफाइनल्स, wherein I think if I remember correctly, there were penalty corners after penalty corners coming in, 8 to 9 penalty corners coming within few seconds, and finally the last one got converted into a goal, unfortunately for us. But still, that is where the role comes in. उसका मतलब पूरे 70 मिनट में काम नहीं होगा, लेकिन वो 5 मिनट का जो काम है, that is very important. और उसके लिए उसकी availability बहुत important है.
And that's where the resistance of creating emergency fund comes. When we say to our families which we manage, and that say that कि आपको इतना emergency fund create करना है. Vivek bhai, why to park in such low yielding asset class? Let's park for long term to create wealth.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. This fund may not be required every time, or this may not require per se. But whenever the situation arises in your life because of any challenges or ups and down, this may act as a, say, a rising sun in your life, basically. And we have seen in pandemic in many cases. Very true.
In fact, we always pray that this fund is never utilized,
And
but
and
still is required.
and that's bring to my the 10th checkpoint, which is very important, Vivek,
Hmm.
is that have professional guidance.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
Hire a good financial advisor, or say a person for your family who is responsible for giving honest and frank advice. It's very important. It's always say a, a good fortune to have a good advisor and good doctor for the family, which take care of your health and one takes care of your wealth, basically. And he should guide you what to do, and most important, what not to do.
That's
He
very important.
protects you from many things, because as a person you come across lot of palpations, lot of news, lot of global news, and which gives you that sense of moving out and moving in from the market, basically. But this is the person who is guiding you day in and day out in all the situation in your personal finance journey, to make sure that you are staying invested as per your goals, as per proper asset allocation. And he is guiding you in avoiding a lot of things which you are not required to do, to make sure that you are in a proper journey towards your financial independence and fulfilling your financial goals. And the biggest job of an advisor, which I would like to tell all our viewers, is to manage your emotions and behavior during the wealth creation journey. It is not giving you the highest return, it is not giving you the best financial products. That is not important, basically. If he gives you best financial product, you may earn 1 or 2% higher. But what if you are not on the track towards your financial goals? What if you are buying and selling your funds or your stocks day in and day out, and that may not lead to wealth creation? So most important is that if he can manage you properly, your wealth would be automatically get managed. And I think that's what
True.
lead to the last point which you want to share with us, Vivek.
So let's say as an advisor, I come to you, Vivek, and say, I will generate, let's say, 60% return per annum guaranteed. What will you do?
This is not a right client for me. Actually,
No, if you are a client and the advisor comes to you and he says, I will generate 50%, I'm a financial advisor, I'm capable enough.
I always would look with a very scary eyes, basically. So 50% year on year basis for continuous consistency is very good to be true. And when it is very good to be true, my eyes would be open for having the ifs and buts. And where there are ifs and buts and condition apply, uh, I think there is a short way of say financial prison, basically, where you may land up somewhere which you don't intend to land up. So in way of greed, basically, you may go, but the end destination is not going to be lead you which where you exactly want to be in that case. So I will stay away from such say fancy things which comes up in the market and say that I'll give you 50% return. Effectively, consistently, no one has made 50%. It is not possible to make it in that case.
And this thought process comes to you and you are able to filter it because you try to educate yourself on personal finance, on the subject very well. A lot of people miss out because they don't educate themselves. They think personal finance is something that other person will come and he will say and I will say yes and no. No, even if you have a good financial advisor, then even though you have that person, it is your duty, you are well aware as to how this industry is working. See, it was very simple 20-25 years back when you had a fixed deposit, a small savings, a public provident fund uh, as the only investment avenues available, and the stock market for privileged few. Okay, so घूम फिर के हमको वही 3-4 जगह इन्वेस्ट करना था.
Very true.
Situations have changed in the last, I would say, a decade or so, wherein we have, various investment vehicles, various structured products, Whether it is, even if you have to invest in gold, you have three options coming in. You have sovereign gold bond, you have physical bonds, you have exchange traded funds. So many options available. Even if you have to lend money, whether to go to NCDs, perpetual bonds, 81 bonds, tier 2 bonds, so many things available. Same goes with equity, options, derivatives, direct equity, cash market, future market, and likewise. So you need to be aware what is good for you, and then you can talk to a financial advisor, because then you will able to relate whether this financial advisor is good for me or not.
Yes.
Okay. So educating yourself, keep on learning, having that learning process on is very important. And another reason for that is, we all believe, Indian law believes to a large extent on a philosophy of caveat emptor. Buyer beware, aware. So
And
it is my responsibility.
Ignorance of law cannot be a excuse, basically. So if you don't know about basic laws of money, and that is also applicable, Vivek, to the next generation. If you are an earning member of the family and you have a child which is 10 years, 12 years of age, it is even your responsibility, because the money management principles, or how to save, how to invest, and are not taught in school and colleges, are not taught as a main line of education. It is where it is ingrained from, where a child sees to the parents how they are managing money. So that's where we have seen in many families where they are pro real estate. There are some families which we have seen are pro FD. We have seen some families which are pro into equity. There are some families who don't believe in investing. It is like a bank mein paisa pada hai, bahut ho gaya. So this comes from predominantly their past experience, or they have seen their parents how they have managed funds, or how they have seen the outside world, and that ingrained himself, and that's what the financial decision they would make in the say their personal finance journey, basically. And when they educate themselves over a period of time, they realize that this is what I have thought in my mind needs to be reframed, learn, relearn, and apply again in that case. And I think that's the perfect, and I think this 11 checkpoints are so important, Vivek, which
Yeah.
if a person can follow is important. But Vivek, खाली ज्ञान लेके कोई मतलब नहीं है. You should have a mindset and attitude also to say apply this in real life. Okay. And I think we were discussing that day that having all the knowledge and not taking any action is just like even though you know that cigarette smoking is bad, and you are smoking in that case, and if you would not smoke and you save that money for that period of time of 25 years, you would buy a huge wealth for them. But the question is that whether you have created wealth or not if you are not smoking it in that case. And that comes to a very important question, Vivek, that what attitude we should follow as a say a family member or as an investor, basically. And that attitude actually will lead to creating financial independence along with this 11 checkpoints, basically. And the first point which is there is commitment. uh,
Hmm.
I feel that if just by telling or just by doing in that case, or just by thinking that financial independent hona hai, usse kuch nahi hota. You need to take action also, and you need to be committed towards that at one point of time I would be financially free, or I would be financially independent. That commitment, that action will actually lead to that. Many times we have seen that people are very fancy of making financial plans for their family. Financial plan bana ke us pe action nahi lete. So
Hmm.
plan is just a plan in that case if you don't take action. And if you don't take action, you would not get the result out of that plan, basically. So that commitment is important to take action, to have that continuous thing in your mind that I want to become financially independent at some day. And when you think in your mind at one point of time, it will actually be real. It would be in reality in your life basically at some point of time. I think you would agree with that, Vivek.
I completely agree. Matlab, it is something like, I start new year on a note, ki, okay, these are my resolutions. And by the 7th of January or the 10th of January, all the resolutions fizzle out. And we actually wait for the new year to come in so that we can take a new resolution.
The best resolution, which generally we see that from 1st of January, I will be religiously going to gym to reduce my or to become fit. By 1 week, I think I am out in that case. And again, next year, I make a new resolution to become fit.
अच्छा, उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? जिम जाना ठीक है, 1st तारीख को मैं डिसाइड करता हूँ मुझे जिम जाना है, 2nd को मैं जाऊंगा, आई विल गो टू अ शॉप, आई विल बाय द बेस्ट ऑफ द शूज, द शॉर्ट्स, द टी-शर्ट्स, एवरीथिंग आई विल बाय. Thereafter, I will not do anything. So
that's where you make a financial plan and you don't take any action out of it. It's just like you are not making any financial plan.
वो होता क्या है ना, हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस क्या है कि हम जैसे बचपन में जब हम पढ़ते थे तो हम क्या सोचते थे कि किताब को सर के नीचे रख देते हैं, रात को सो जाते हैं, सुबह तक किताब हमारे सर के अंदर घुस जाएगी. So that's the commitment we carry on. So commitment is required. Commitment के साथ में the second thing which is extremely important is self discipline.
Very true, very true.
Okay, मैंने ये सब कर लिया, मैंने अपना विजन बना लिया, मैंने सारी चीजें एक चेकलिस्ट बना लिया, हम ये करेंगे ये करेंगे ये करेंगे. अगर वो डिसिप्लिन नहीं है तो काम कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा?
Very true.
And second problem is why the discipline doesn't come or why we procrastinate is कि हम बहुत सारी चीज एक साथ करने की कोशिश करते हैं.
Yes.
There is a very beautiful quote, okay, coming from I don't remember the name of the gentleman, but it is coming from a sports fraternity, and it says ki, if you can't run you walk, sorry, if you can't run you jog, if you can't jog you walk, if you can't walk you crawl, but at least do something, damn it.
Yes,
because even if you crawl, you are moving that 1 inch ahead closer to
your destination.
Exactly. And you start moving. If you keep on moving continuously, you will definitely reach your goal. Maybe you may take a slightly longer time, but at least you are ensured, you are having that surety कि I will reach. लेकिन मैं खड़ा ही रहूंगा उधर, मैं हिलूंगा भी नहीं और मैं सोचूंगा मैं अपना पहुंच जाऊं, तो ये तो वही आप वाली कहानी हो जाएगी जो आपने शुरू में बताई थी, भगवान आके बचाएगा. भगवान बेचारा कहां से आके बचाएगा?
Very true.
So self discipline is extremely important. And if you don't have self-discipline, ensure someone sits on your head like a financial advisor who gets things done.
Exactly. Very true. Very true. And that points to the third attitude, basically, which I think is very important for the millennials predominantly: necessity over luxury. Many a times we have seen that even though you have made a plan, you know all the things basically that I need to invest, but the requirement may be X amount, you are doing X minus minus minus. कुछ तो कर रहे, ठीक है, but that will not lead to that, and the remaining money which needs to be going for your investment is going for an unwanted things which you don't require in your life. And that's a need you need to prioritize properly, that what things you need and what things are required. If you so जैसे एक चीज जैसे हमारे my father always used to tell me is that बेटा कभी कंजूसी मत करो, लेकिन कर कसर जरूर करो. अगर आपको जरूरत है तो 100 रुपया भी खर्चा करो, पर अगर आपको जरूरत नहीं है तो 1 रुपया भी खर्चा मत करो, because every rupee saved counts on your future. So that's where necessity is important. When you go for a shop, and today in the world of online shopping basically, or online world, the palpation to buy something has become very high. Look, it's like a money wallet in your hand. They tempt you to buy and you get tempted to buy, and you take that action to buy anything which is not required. If even though you follow this basic rule of that what is required in your life and you stick to that, and remaining amount is kept aside for your financial goals to invest in a proper way, I think there are many things which can happen in that case, and the savings ratio can increase drastically. So that's what attitude is required. That's a very I would say कि एक जानबूझ के प्रयास करना पड़ेगा, because now it has been ingrained in our mind in such a way that we are moving towards that show of culture or a luxury culture. But is it required? Are you natural to yourself? If it is a natural way to do that luxury, it is fine. But if it is not, don't do it. I think that's not required basically.
I think if you can elaborate on one aspect is what is the difference between necessity and luxury? आज की डेट में मेरे ख्याल से there is a very thin line between both.
So
मैं किसको necessity
कुछ टाइम पहले I think the car was a luxury. Today car is a need because we need a comfortable way to travel. But अगर आपका काम एक बेसिक कार से हो रहा है, do you require to have a luxury car to take care of it which is beyond your budget? So आपका काम समझो क्रेटा से हो जाता है as a family car. Where your 5-member family can easily fit in and you can travel comfortably whenever you want, and that is the necessity which is there. But setting aside, and that's your budget basically, but setting aside the budget, and because of that you want to fulfill that your urge to have that luxury, you go towards Audi, BMW, stretching yourself. Requirement nahi hai, then it becomes a luxury beyond expectations. Same way, like air conditions was a luxury, it is a need today. Okay, so अगर जरूरत है तो करो, जरूरत नहीं है तो मत करो. If it is required, do it. Don't think that this is required or not. But अगर ये जरूरत नहीं है, इतने में आपका कम हो सकता है, तो फिर ज्यादा स्पेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं है, because you may stretch yourself which is not required, and this may end up in that stressful situation or anxiety situation in that case.
And maybe I think that equation helps. Income minus savings is equal to expense.
Exactly.
अगर affordability भी है तो please ensure कि you save first and then you spend.
Then you take.
कि मैं चलो BMW खरीद लेता हूँ because मेरे पास में 70 लाख रुपए पड़े.
Exactly. Very true.
Great. So I think just to add up to what you are saying is another point, and which comes in that equation also, is effective management of resources.
Very true.
ठीक है, जैसे कि मैं एक हॉकी टीम का एग्जांपल दे रहा था कि आप किस फॉर्मेशन में काम करना चाहोगे, तो फॉर्मेशन कैसे बनेगी. तो लाइकवाइज आप जब भी अपना पैसा इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, इट डजंट मीन यू हैव टू ऑलवेज इन्वेस्ट इनटू इक्विटी और यू हैव टू गेट इनटू दिस. यू नीड टू सी मेरे को रिस्क मैनेजमेंट में कितना पैसा यूज करना है, कितना मुझे अपना कंटिजेंसी के लिए क्रिएट करना है, बिकॉज माई सरप्लस इज लिमिटेड. ओके, मैं ये नहीं कर सकता कि पहले मैं ग्रोथ वाला पैसा इकट्ठा कर लेता हूं, उसके बाद मैं कंटिजेंसी का सोचूंगा. तो मेरे पास जो भी अवेलेबल रिसोर्सेज हैं, विच इज माय सरप्लस मनी दैट आई हैव इन माय हैंड, उसको मैं इफेक्टिवली किस तरीके से यूज करूं सो दैट इट हेल्प्स, इट एक्चुअली चैनलाइजर्स. सो कहते हैं ना, एक रथ के अंदर अगर 4 घोड़े हैं और चारों एक ही डायरेक्शन में अगर जाते हैं, then it moves faster in one direction. If 4 horses are pulling the cart in 4 different directions, nothing will happen. So likewise, if we are able to manage our resources, giving a complete thought to our financial objectives, and then creating, okay, how much I should allocate where. And I think a lot of times what happens is, you must have also experienced this when you're talking with the client and we say कि आपको ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है. आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट भी करना है, आपको मतलब फ्यूचर गोल्स के लिए एसआईपी करनी है, आपको एक टर्म इंश्योरेंस लेना है, आपको एक हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लेना है, आपको कंटिजेंसी, लेकिन इतना करूं कैसे? एंड देन व्हेन वी गिव दैट प्लान कि ओके दिस इज योर सरप्लस, इसमें से इतना यहां जा रहा है, इतना यहां जा रहा है, इतना यहां जा रहा है, and then he sees कि okay within that surplus everything is getting managed. So that becomes very important. And again, as I said earlier, keep on writing things. Don't rely on your mental calculations, because mind छलिया है, वो biased है, वो आपकी सोच के हिसाब से चलता है.
Very true.
और आपकी सोच, आपकी डिजायर, सोच भी नहीं बोलूंगा, आपकी डिजायर के हिसाब से चलता है, वो गलत हो जाता है. तो अगर आपके पास सरप्लस है तो कितना है, उसको आप कहां पे कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या क्या, सब चीजों को लिखे, फिर उसको आप अलाइन करें.
Very true.
See how simple things are.
I think we have covered predominantly the whole checklist and the say 4 attitudes which are required. If I want to summarize in a say couple of sentences, in that case, all the 11 checklist is the first checklist which you need to do is set financial goal, quantify and prioritize them. Second is please follow the equation of income minus expense, savings equal to expenses. Have minimum or no debt, third checklist. Fourth is don't just save, but invest and allocate and channelize your savings towards your most cherished financial goals.
True.
Follow proper asset allocation and diversification, point number fifth. Sixth is start small but early and follow it systematically so that you understand the power of compounding. Periodic review of your investment and plan is the seventh point, which is very important. Eighth one is indemnify yourself and your family with right level of risk properly, which will be your health, your life and assets. Build a contingency fund to take care of any emergencies or any job loss or health issues or social expenses, or just like pandemic in that case. And 10th checkpoint is have professional guidance, have a good advisor with you who can guide you day in on a regular basis to make sure that your personal finance journey is smoothful and you take the right decisions, and he avoid you taking and avoids you of what not to do basically. And last checkpoint is educate yourself on money and personal finance to make sure that you also make your next generation ready with what money management is. All this checkpoint and along with the attitude to say achieve the financial independence, which is commitment, self-discipline, necessity over luxury, and last effective management of resources. When you combine this 11 checkpoint and these four attitudes, and if you follow it rigorously, friends, I and Vivek can at least have that level of assurance that you will be on a right track towards your financial independence, and you will make sure that your journey of personal finance is more smooth. There will be ups and downs, but following this checklist and this attitude will act as a shock absorbers in your life, and this will lead to a smooth journey where you can enjoy your time, your life with your family, create memories, and also enjoy the financial independence. With that note, friends, I would like to again wish you a very happy Independence Day. Do subscribe to our both our YouTube channel, Vivek Damani RIA and Vivek Shah Official, to get the notifications. And we would like to have a comments on this live video. Please give a feedback how it was, how we can improve ourselves so that we can get a good content on money management, personal finance, and personal financial planning in the days, months, and years to come. With that note, thank you very much. Thank you, Vivek, for being with me. Thank you.
Thank you and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you.